The Prime Minister and the newest Liberal MP arriving at the party's national convention. Thousands of Liberals have headed to Montreal to talk policy, hot off a floor crossing and with a sought-after majority government within reach. Mark Carney defended Marilyn Gladu today after facing questions about welcoming a socially conservative MP into his caucus.
We have our values of solidarity, of inclusivity, of sustainability, of the rights of women, of all the rights in the Charter of Freedom. We have those core values. Those values don't change. Others come to support the mission of the party and the government at this crucial time.
We're standing by to bring you the Government House Leader Stephen McKinnon. But first, Conservatives are still reeling from the loss of a fourth MP to the Liberals.
Members of Parliament should stand up for the party and the principles that they said they would when they were looking people in the eye in their elections. If you ran in an election, you went out and you said to little old ladies, to veterans, to truckers, to single moms, that you were going to stand up for the Conservative platform and to do so as part of the Conservative Party that people voted for, then you should respect those people and honor your word.
Some in Gladu's Sarnia area riding are also shocked by the decision of the longtime Conservative MP's decision to cross the floor.
It's extreme betrayal. I have been an advocate for her because of the Conservative policies. I've had her signs on my front lawn. She has called me. Not once has she called to say she was going to cross the floor to the Liberals.
I think it's wonderful. As I say, I lean Liberal. And now that she's a Liberal, I would support her.
I voted Conservative, and those are my views. I'm not a Liberal, and I voted for her based on being a Conservative, not a Liberal.
I'm delighted, personally. I think it's great.
Gladu is the fourth Conservative to join the Liberal caucus and is widely considered the most socially conservative to do so. Mike Bradley is the Mayor of Sarnia, Ontario. He joins me now. Welcome to the show. You have been in the office of the Mayor of Sarnia since Marilyn Gladu started as an MP. Were you as surprised as the rest of us?
Well, I can tell you when I got the news from the media yesterday, my first response is April Fool's was last week. It's not this week. And it was stunning and it was shocking. Given if you were to take the list of all the Conservative MPs, she'd be the last on the list to cross the floor. That's what was stunning personally and then to the constituents of this riding.
So what was your initial reaction once you realized it wasn't April Fool's?
Well, I was trying to figure out why. The only conclusion I could come to was that she's not going to run again. And she's been in opposition her whole time in Parliament. And this is an exit right out, that she can leave being part of a government. It's going to be hard to follow because Carney's in a real tough spot. If he does start doing favors for Sarnia after all these years, does that look like there was an incentive to cross over? And I hope, the MP who just crossed the floor said back in January in this constituency that she believes there should be by-elections when people cross the floor. And I still believe that, and I hope that she still believes it, and the Prime Minister will call a by-election and let the public decide on who represents them and which party.
And why do you think that that's important? Not just because Marilyn Gladu said it herself in January, but why do you think calling a by-election is necessary?
Well, I'm sensing, the Prime Minister is on a roll right now across this country, and he's doing well here in a Conservative riding from what I hear. But there's also this sense that, they're doing business the same way they did before, the old-fashioned politics of, taking care of people and patronage. So I would hope the Prime Minister see an opportunity here. Let's show the public that we're going to do things differently. And there will be a by-election, and we'll abide by the results. I wouldn't dismiss that the MP couldn't get reelected because of the support for Carney. But let the public decide. That's the most basic principle of democracy.
Now, you said you've been hearing from the community. What have you been hearing? Is there voices on both sides in the community? Is there one preponderance over another in terms of what people are feeling and thinking about this?
Well, it's overwhelmingly negative. I just drove by the MP's constituency office by chance, and there's a demonstration out there again today, as there was yesterday. I think what's bothering people more than anything, that this particular MP has spent the last 11 years, even up to a couple of days ago, attacking the government, attacking the prime ministers of the times, and so they feel betrayed. And a lot of her vote was very fundamentally deep. She was very much part of the Freedom Convoy people. She went to Ottawa and had dinner or lunch with them. So they're feeling very betrayed, more than you normally would when someone crosses the floor. And it's because of the high partisanship of this individual, the MP. And I think that's why her supporters, and of course the Liberals here that I've talked to, were very upset because they feel betrayed by the Carney government.
So is it possible, though, that you're hearing this displeasure from both Conservatives and Liberals because those are the people that would speak up, and that there is quieter support there for what she's done, or you're pretty convinced that that is the majority view?
I'll be fair. I think there's some support for it. This could be good for the constituency. We could get perhaps more support from government on some of the big issues. We are the energy hub of Eastern Canada. And during the Trudeau years, we were silenced. They just weren't interested in talking to us, even though we're a huge creator of wealth and jobs in this country. So I think there's some of that there. But right now, it's just the pure shock that anyone that knew the MP had been in her company over the last 11 years never saw this coming. So I think there's an ownership issue there to go to the public and say, I'm doing this, but in her case, for the right reasons. And because of that, I'm going to ask the Prime Minister to do what I suggested back in January and call a by-election here.
Now, as you just suggested, there could be some value in part of the riding being in government, that obviously that can come with some benefits. Yesterday with CTV, you said, but you need to see some proof that there is value in this move of Gladu's. So what kind of proof would you be looking for that this was the right move for that riding?
I don't want to sound cynical, but I will, is that I believe there had to be some trade-off. There had to be some wink, wink, we're going to do something to show that being a government member is much better for you. Just like they took one MP that crossed the floor on the trip to China with the Prime Minister. I suspect there's something in motion there. It's going to have to be pretty big to make a huge impact here that people say it was worth switching. But I suspect that's part of the agenda. And they've done that a few times. They've recognized them, given them a bit of a boost, because quite honestly, once you cross the floor, your value to them is limited. And when the 3 by-elections are held, this member will be forgotten as we move on to other issues and the majority issue. So I see this as the best way of sending a clear signal from the Prime Minister's office. We're going to do politics differently. We've listened to the last year when people talked about floor crossings. They've come to us. We embrace them. We're trying to be a large party in the sense of who we accept and who we have. And this MP certainly is a big stretch when you look at her past on her positions on many social issues, particularly. So here's a chance to send a message. We're doing things differently, just like the Prime Minister did right after he replaced Prime Minister Trudeau. It was clear things would be different. And the public has shown very clearly that they support that.
Now, you said that you think there might have been some kind of agreement. We don't know that yet. But based on the needs of your region, what kind of things would you like to see to show that this was a good move for the area? You mentioned, of course, energy, and we know that the area is quite trade sensitive, being a border area. But what are the specific needs that you want to see addressed that perhaps have been forgotten up to this point?
I wrote to the Prime Minister last year saying we could be the security hub. We're the largest city on Lake Huron. We have an airport that's right by the lake. We have the Coast Guard here. We have the RCMP. We could be that security hub they're talking about developing to deal with the American issues. We also have other great needs as a border community. We also being, again, the energy hub of Eastern Canada. We have Line 5 that hasn't been brought to a conclusion to protect jobs and thousands of jobs in Ontario and Quebec. So there's a whole list of things, but it's going to have to be substantial, not just some cosmetic move of taking the MP on a trip, because the betrayal I'm hearing from her own supporters is deep and abiding. So they've got to demonstrate as a government that they're going to do something that would show it was valuable to do that if you're someone who's going to cross the floor. But I add to that, the way to validate that is let the people of Sarnia Lambton speak about this issue by voting.
And if there is no by-election?
Well, I think it's going to be a difficult couple of years for the MP, just based, again, what I'm hearing. So we live with it. But again, if Carney wants to send a clear message, he's doing politics differently. Here's a best example to show that.
Thank you very much for your time today. We'll have to leave it there. That is the Sarnia Mayor, Mike Bradley.